welcome to Tat Talk. This is our season one of our special episodes, and I'm looking forward to this one. This is where I go one-on-one with some of my favorite people in the industry, outside of the industry, but it's a good opportunity for us to get to know them a little bit better. Tonight's guest star is one of the funniest men I've ever worked with, and one of the funniest men I know. His name's Mick Miller. Check this out.
I was working in Australia in the Gold Coast. I was doing the clubs over there. And I've landed and we got in, and the Gold Coast, wonderful, you know what I mean? So that taxi driver, I just said, "Hey mate," I said, "can you stop your cab?" "What for, mate?" I said, "Just stop the cab." "Why?" I said, "I want to take a picture of that kangaroo over there." And he went, "Kangaroo?" He said, "That's a greyhound having a shit."
Yes, he's funny. It's amazing, and he's been going a long time. Well, please welcome my guest for today's special episode. How you doing, Mick?
I'm fine, Terry. Thanks. Yeah, still here. I'm growing a beard now, but I've started to sing about dead sailors.
You know, I don't know if you can tell. I started the beard this morning. I said to Anne, "Should I grow a beard?" And she says, "I actually don't really give a shit."
Well, I think every comic's growing a beard at the moment. I noticed John Martin was growing one the other day.
Yeah.
That's only because he's going to save on a razor blade.
Absolutely right. So this is great. Our normal TED Talk, we have 3 guests on, and we move around. It's great. And Mick was on one and funny. But I've known Mick for a long time. Anne and I, we performed with him on Central Pier in 1992, and that was a blast. Not that we remember most of it because we were all a little drunk for the entire season. But
that was a great season, wasn't it? Yeah.
It was great. And I'm trying to remember who was on with it. I know Chrissy Rock was with us at the beginning, I think.
Yeah, Chrissy Rock. And was Johnny Casson there?
Johnny was on it. I think Albie Senior was on it.
Yeah. There was quite a few, wasn't there? Yeah. Did we have the Portuguese singer? Did we have a... Yeah, real good-looking kid, wasn't he?
Yeah, I can't remember now. You know, and I don't know if you remember this, but that was when we were on stage. That was the time when Anne got bug, flew into her hair, and she had like 5 pounds of air lacquer on her hair, and this bug flew in and was flying around, and she's trying to get it off, and eventually she's like this on the back. No, that was great. That was a few months before, about a year before Nick was born, and it was great times. Blackpool back then.
Well, there was at 3 piers, the 3 shows. There was then the Winter Gardens had a show on. Oh, the ABC had a show on. You know, there was that many shows. It was an incredible place.
It was great, and even the so-called smaller places. Leighton Institute we did in 1998, I think it was, the summer season there. It was great.
Yeah.
It was great. And it was
dancers, band. Yeah. Brilliant. Yeah.
Oh, it was so good. And it was, and it's kind of goes hand in hand with Clubland over there. You didn't work 3 or 4 weeks a month. You worked 5 or 6 nights a week and going everywhere, you know.
Oh, it was incredible. You know, I used to come off the pier and then I'd fly up to do a hotel, the Butlins Hotel, you know.
Yeah. That was...
Fly down and do pontins at South Shore, you know, go on at 11:30 at night. You know, it was happy days.
They were exciting times. And, I grew up with my dad. He worked at Salford Rugby Club, the Willows, and I'm sure you've done it. He was there.
Oh, many times, yeah.
Great gig, and most people watching this won't have a clue we're talking about. But back in the Manchester days, there were so many clubs like Fagan's, Talk of the Town, Talk of the North, Golden Garter, the Willows at Salford Rugby Club. Great gig.
The Golden Garter, I actually did that. I did a week there with the Stylistics.
What year was that? Can you remember?
I forget who was I mean, they always had a big band. They always had a big 8-piece band. Yeah.
I was in that band from. I was in that band 78 to 80. Did it with Cannon Ball. They headlined one. So, you know, may have been, and I did the stylistics there too. What were the stylistics and the Shy Lights? So maybe that was another time when we were together.
There's some great, I mean, I toured with the Drifters 4 times, you know. I used to love the lad, brilliant, you know.
Yeah. Was that with Johnny Moore?
Johnny Moore, yeah, he was absolutely brilliant. And Benny King in the beginning.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely tremendous. And now there's 850 of them.
I know. And all original members.
Who's on tonight? Oh, some Drifters.
Yeah, great stuff. But prior to that then, so we're talking about the 70s, 1970s, early 80s. But going back 20 years from that, your younger days, we talked about it. We touched on it the other day about playing football and being with Port Vale. But what struck me there, Mick, was the Stanley Matthews connection, because Stanley Matthews was the football hero.
Well, it was incredible. And for him to come, I mean, we lived in a terraced house in Liverpool, and Stanley Matthews came, you know, and the proudest moment was my dad opening the door, and Stanley Matthews walked into our house, you know. Yeah. And obviously the signing on fee, I got a China tea service for my mother, because it was Stoke-on-Trent, but yeah.
Well, funnily enough, you know, those kind of incentives don't change. You find footballers now that they're toying between which team to go, and the paychecks are high, but it comes down to who's going to buy my mum a house.
Well, that's true.
But no, it's great. On a footballing thing, as you know, I'm a mad football fan. I mean, I'm just nuts. I still fly back 2 or 3 times to watch United. But here's a question for you, and it's a hard one to answer. But who's the greatest footballer of all time?
I've got to say Bestie.
I knew you were going to say it. I was going to say the same.
Yeah, Bestie. Obviously, world. It's good. People are going to say Pele, you know.
Yeah.
But for me, you know, Bestie was just incredible, you know. And I happened to work with him quite a few times.
Yeah.
Yeah. I did Michael Parkinson's pub. He's a big jazz fan, Michael Parkinson, you know, the broadcaster.
Yeah.
And he's got a photo. He was a big pal of Bestie's. And in his pub, there's a photograph. And it's the whole squad of Man United, you know, the 48 of them. And every face is George Best. And it just says, you know, the ideal squad. It
was brilliant. I mean, my dad took me to my first game in 1967 or something. So it was not coming to the end of Bestie's career, but was getting towards when they won the European Cup. And he was the first superstar. You know, truly was a world superstar. I think Ronaldo these days is the closest thing in terms of skill. I think Ronaldo is on a different planet. It's crazy. Yeah. He's still playing at the level, but love talking about football. It's great. I know that. So after football, I remember. I think you said you got injured. Is that right? That's how your football career ended.
No. I wasn't good enough. Really, I wasn't tall enough. I was a goalkeeper. I wasn't tall enough. So I went. I had some horrible jobs. I was driving a crane on the railway. That was just so degrading, that was, you know, because I was working with all these guys all ready for retirement, you know.
Yeah.
And you had to join the union then, you know, the NUR.
Yeah.
Which meant no use rushing. And then I got a job on the holiday camp as a sports host, so that was how it all started then.
Well, when was that? When was it?
72, that was.
Nice.
So nice. I did 3 years and worked on an act, you know. So I went back for three years doing Pontins, and that's how it started then. And then all the clubs were going, as we were talking about, the Manchester clubs, the London clubs. And I got with an agent in Manchester, Stuart Littlewood, who managed like Cannonball, people like that, and. went with them and I never looked back, because like they just filled your book for a year,
Oh, I know. I remember. In I think it was 1976. It would have been, I think. I was in a band called Strawberry Pie, and we were with Roy Mosley, who was out in the office above Fagan's, and Roy Mosley and Noel Burns, I think, shared those same offices. Don't you remember those?
Yes, yeah. He stays on my Facebook.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, Roy. Yeah. We give each other crap. He's a big City fan, so we love each other.
He had a club. He had a club called the Talk of the North.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah. So that was a big club. I did that quite a few times.
Yeah. I remember. You just touched on trains. We're going to go to a video here of Nick's got a new DVD out, which is hilarious, like everything he does. But check out this little clip about his train journey.
I was doing a gig in London the other week, and I thought I'd get the train down. So from Preston to London and back was 280 quid. I don't know how to book it online and all that malarkey. So 280 quid. So I've got my number, my ticket. I'm on one of them tables of 4. So there's 3 fellas all in suits, all with computers, and me. So this fella next to me, he's got his computer in his own socket and his phone in mine. I said, excuse me, mate, get your fucking phone off my socket. Cost me a lot of money this trip. Anyway, he took it out, and I didn't have my phone with me. Really embarrassed. So I plugged my hair straighteners in.
That's brilliant. That's brilliant. It is funny because I haven't seen you for 20 years. And when I talk about Mick Miller, I talk about some of the jokes, like the white dog shit, which still sticks with me today. But it's when you come back after 20 years and there's so much new material. Of course, Noddy's in there and so on, but there's so much new material. And I think it speaks volumes, that too, because it's easy for anyone, any actor, to rest on the laurels a little bit, and you don't. It's good to see that.
Well, I think you've got to go with the times a bit. You know what I mean? Because I do the comedy clubs now. So you've got to keep coming up with new stuff. In fact, today I was stood in front of the mirror. Practiced a few gags.
Yeah.
And I heckled myself.
Brilliant.
Are you in lockdown as well?
Yeah, we're in lockdown. It's not enforced, but it's pretty close.
Yeah, because it's starting to, the cracks are starting to go now. My missus said this morning, she said I was blinking too loud.
Yeah, we can sense it. A couple of days it was great, and now Anne's saying, "Are you sure you don't want to go out for a walk on your own?"
Also, and she's gone veggie. So she said, "Oh, I've got a nice garden. We're going to start growing our own food." So I said, "All right, then, yeah." So we'll make sure you get some bacon seeds.
Brilliant. So we left Blackpool 20 years ago when Nick was 6. We came over here and started working. And I know when I go back to working in Blackpool, we kind of have that dream to, 1, work in America, and 2, work in Vegas. Vegas it's different than it used to be, but it's still not the pinnacle, but it's one of those places you go, I just got to perform there. And I know that when Anne and I were over here, we talk about acts that we knew in the UK. And there were only a handful of them where we said, if you put that act in Vegas, in this room and that room, I'm talking about 20 years ago, but it's still relative now, relevant now. You were one of them. Joe Longthorne was one of them. When we talk about and go, if they go in Vegas, it's no different than putting them on a cruise ship with 800 people from all over the world. they're gonna laugh, and they go to Vegas to laugh. So when when we saw Last Laugh in Vegas, the previews for it, and we saw everyone that was going on, and you and Bobby and Tommy and so on, we were excited as heck. And as you know, we desperately wanted to come up and see you.
Yeah.
I got ill, but I thought it was a great hit. I thought it was a smash hit for you. I thought you came across. I thought everyone came across well, but I thought you came across so well in that video, Mick.
Yeah, it was great to, you know, to. I mean, that's on your bucket list, isn't it? You know, to work Vegas. You know, London Palladium.
Yeah.
London Palladium and Vegas. So it was great, and I did work, and the room was fabulous. You know, the rooms are absolutely tremendous. The sound was good. You know, and we knew the guy that did the set was from Blackpool.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Andy. Yeah, he was a Blackpool lad. Yeah, and he's out there and he does all the sets for all the big TV shows. You know.
Huh.
Yeah, Andy Walmsley. He's brilliant.
You know, I know Andy, and I can't remember where I know him from. But,
Well, his dad was a comic in the UK called Sid Francis.
Oh yeah, I do. I remember Sid.
Yeah, and his mum was fire eater. She was a fire eater. Yeah.
You probably got gags about that. That's funny. You know, doing Vegas. Couple of questions for you. What was better than you expected it to be, and what wasn't quite what you expected it to be? Is there something that really went? Oh, wow.
Well, yeah. I mean, the show itself was brilliant, and the laughs were great. The most disappointing thing was I never actually saw an Elvis.
Oh, really?
And we were there 2 weeks, and I never actually saw an Elvis.
Wow.
So, and we weren't allowed out, you know, because obviously there was a shoot in there when we were there. So that you know, that was 3 days out.
Of course, that was the thing outside the Mandalay Bay, right? That happened when you were there. Yeah. Wow.
And also there was a big comic died as well of a heart attack. Massive big guy. Big guy, and he died of a heart attack.
That wasn't Sam Kinison, was it? Or was that earlier than that?
A big guy. Is he a big guy? Massive guy. Yeah.
I can't remember. What, you say you didn't see an Elvis impersonator there?
No, didn't see an Elvis. Because I do a gag. I said, my missus, you know, she loved Elvis. So for a birthday, I booked an Elvis impersonator. And I must have got the best in the world. Because he arrived at the party, he ate all the food, he shot me television and died on my toilet. How good is that?
Brilliant. Perfect impersonator. I'm going to show a video, but we're going to show, I know when you were in Vegas, you did some Elvis auditions, and I want to show that. But when I come back, I'm also going to get a video. You talk about seeing an Elvis guy, and as you know, we represent a ton of acts, and we've got what I think is one of the most amazing Elvis guys out there. But first, let's cut to Vegas and Mick Miller with a couple of friends as Elvis.
That's all right here, isn't it?
Hey, this is it.
Oh,
This is it.
this is the place.
This is the place.
Fantastic, fantastic.
Absolutely brilliant.
I know that.
Shut it. Hey, but what a great opportunity.
Oh, it's great.
6 months contract doing Elvis.
I know.
Yeah. And what song are you going to sing?
I'll give you a clue. I've got it.
When did Elvis record a song called Tuneless Crap?
Tuneless crap. What song are you doing?
I'm doing... Say... This is Fish's Minds I'm doing.
Hello, boys. Oh, don't tell me you're entering the Elvis competition as well.
No. An honour were this to go to the shops.
Of course
course I'm doing the competition.
Okay, what song are you doing?
I'm singing Guitar Man.
No, you're not, I'm doing that.
Okay, don't worry. I'll do Suspicious Minds.
I'm doing that.
Pick another one.
I don't know another one.
What do you mean? Of course you must know another one. Elvis had hundreds of hits.
I don't know any of them. Hang on. Wait a minute. Yes, I do. What's it called? Oh, this is balmy. It was always on my mind.
Give him a minute. Give him a minute.
Shut it, lady. I'll kick your big and dig it in a minute.
Gentlemen, are you ready?
Hang on, don't rock on, Tommy. How come your lights are on? My lights aren't on, Tommy.
We paid our electric bill.
All right, gentlemen. First audition.
Mick Miller, comedian, sex symbol, 29 inside leg.
Okay, let's hear you.
Cause any trip, I can't walk out because I love you too much, baby.
Hold it. Isn't Elvis supposed to have thick black hair?
Well, if he was alive today, I think he'd look like this.
Next.
Tommy Cannon, international superstar. Usually popular. Solo artist.
Solo? You've been with me for 54 years.
Shut up.
Okay, Tommy, let's hear it.
Okay, let's do it. Okay, well, I left my car down at the car wash. Yeah, left out some loaf on my mama. Oh, yeah, I did. And I was left at sunrise to get into Kingston with my guitar under my coat. Oh, yeah.
Wait.
What?
What are you doing?
What am I doing? Guitar Man.
But you're just standing there. I need to see the famous leg movements and the snap of the hips.
You must be joking. I've just had my hips replaced.
Next. Now don't waste my time. Can you do the Elvis lip curl?
Back off, lady, back off.
All right, how about the leg moves? Let's hear your song.
1, 2, 3, 4. Are you lonesome tonight? Do you miss me tonight? Are you sorry we drifted apart? The memories stay so bright someday when I give you a golden start. Do the
Next.
I'm finished. Do the
Next.
I am finished.
That is brilliant, Mick. I think we might not pitch you as an Elvis impersonator over there, though. We might stay away from that.
Oh no, don't do impressions.
So good. But it looked like you had a blast in Vegas, though. I mean, I know you've been there before, but just never performed there, right?
Yeah, I mean the place we stayed at, I think it was a brothel.
Where was it?
Because, well, if you look at it, it was out in the suburbs, but it had a swimming pool and it had, 3 swimming pools, but barbecues everywhere. And and it was called Dreams and Desires. So that did it for me.
Brilliant.
But it was great, yeah. The things that we had to do every day, I mean, like, the great thing was me and Cannon and Ball, we went to the Italian Club of America and we went in Frank Sinatra's private dining room.
Nice.
And I had lunch with, the Shinters, Yeah.
Totally.
So they showed us around and we had lunch in the private dining room, which was tremendous.
Brilliant.
Yeah, that was brilliant, yeah.
Now, Vegas is great. Obviously you can see everyone and anyone there, especially through the old days. I've got a guest on with me next week called Bob Anderson. I don't know if you know Bob, but check him out. He worked, he was discovered by Sinatra, opened up with him, did his own show for years, impersonator. But right now he does a show called Frank the Man, and it's ridiculous how good it is. I mean, it's just crazy, but it's so good. And Vegas full of stars. So I've got a couple of questions for you, Mick. Throw you on the spot here. Who is your favorite comedian and why?
Well, I've got quite a few actually. I would say W.C. Fields.
Brilliant.
And Steve Martin.
It's hilarious.
And Robin Williams. Yeah.
So,
but I started, I had a lot of American comics that I loved. There was Red Fox, who was loads of comics. I was into what were they called? The two just talked about drugs all the time. Can't think of his name.
Cheech and Chong. Is it
Cheech and Chong? Yeah, Cheech and Chong. I mean, they were off the wall.
Yeah, and they're still getting now. They're still doing it.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Stephen Wright.
Brilliant.
He's incredible. Yeah.
George,
is he still?
I don't know if Stephen Wright's still doing it. I don't know.
Great deadpan, and
George Carlin, so good.
Oh, he was incredible. Wasn't he? He's like he told it as it was, didn't he?
so many great ones. It's brilliant. Yeah, and I know you've worked with a ton of people. So many. Who haven't you worked with? I mean, this is obvious, like Elvis and so on. But who haven't you worked with that you'd love to?
One I would have loved to have worked with was Billy Connolly.
Oh yeah.
And I never actually worked with him, and I never did I usually do TVs with these type of people, but I never did. But I would have loved to have, worked with him, because we started out about the same time, really. And I used to follow him around, the smaller clubs in Scotland.
He's so good. I'm just going to come back to the Elvis thing because you mentioned Elvis, and like I said, we represent so many acts, and I've deliberately kind of stayed away from the Elvis thing. We've got some great Elvis impersonators that we have, but there's a young guy out of Memphis, Tennessee, who now is the Elvis ambassador, if you like, at Graceland. But I'm going to, technically speaking, I'm going to try and share my screen so you can see this, Mick, and hear it. But check out this guy. This is Dean Z.
Well, it's a wonderful morning, for sure. Yeah, now go, cat, don't you? Sail my blue suede ship. Yeah, you know anything but a hell of a blue suede ship. You ain't nothing but a hound dog, crying all the time.
How good is he?
He's the full package, that, isn't it? Wow.
Crazy, isn't it? Yeah, so good. And it's funny just touching on tributes and impersonators. It's had a little bit of a black cloud over it for about 10 years because it seemed like a secondary art form, if you like. But now there are so many people like Dean and like Bob. There's Sherry Ray Parker, who does Bette Midler, and they really have taken it and made it a true art form. And you look at that, and when you watch Dean, when you're in the audience with Dean, you feel like you're just watching Elvis, young Elvis.
Yeah.
So good.
I work a lot with some tribute acts. Recently, I was on with Amy Housewine.
Amy Housewine. I love it. I like the name. We once saw an all-girls Eagles tribute called the Sheagles. That's a real one though. But
there's a band from Yorkshire they're called the Red Hot Chili Peppers.
Now you see, it's only the UK people that are going to get that. The Red Hot Chili Peppers, Yorkshire band, love it. You know, I just got a message through from someone who wanted to ask a question of you, and it's a great question, and I'm going to get it right here because it might take some time to think about this. You've probably been on stage thousands of times. What's your most memorable stage moment? For what, the best one and the worst one? Worst things that have happened. I mean, I've got a couple with us, but I'd love to know what your most memorable, best moment on stage was, and your worst one.
The worst one was a gig in London. I used to work for Jaguar, the cars.
Yeah.
And they used to do launches all over the world, and they took me to everywhere. They took me to Bermuda, Cuba, everywhere for the launches of cars. Mm-hmm. But as the car game was getting a bit tight, they stopped doing that. So the guy phoned me up. He said, "Right, Mick, this year," he said, "we're just doing London." And I went, "Oh, what is it?" And it was a natural history museum. And some bright spark has said, "Oh, it'd make a great conference venue," which it's not. I mean, it's like a church. Imagine, it's like 300 foot high, and they've got that dinosaur, the famous dinosaur, that is right down the middle. And they've put tables of 10 each side the dinosaur. So there's like 10 tables of 10 each side of the dinosaur. The stage is on the stairs, right? The dinosaur's head is about 4 foot away from you, And I walked on, and just an ad lib. They're all on dining tables, and you've got this dinosaur. And I said, "You haven't left much." Right? And the microphone wasn't on. And it was just like, and when the microphone came on, it was just like, "Good evening." And I stood there for 25 minutes, and I came off, and I went to the toilet and came back. And this guy just came up to me and he said, "Excuse me, what do you do?" That was the worst. Yeah. And the best, I think, was the first time I worked the London Palladium, to walk on that stage and get your first laugh.
Yeah.
That was the best, yeah.
Well, that's the whole thing. Yeah. The Royal Variety, was that at the Palladium when you did that?
No, that when I did the Royal Command, that was at Salford in Manchester.
Was it really?
The Lowry Theatre, yeah.
Okay. Yeah. No, the Palladium, it's brilliant. What a venue.
Yeah, and it's when you get there, it's tiny. I mean, it's tiny,
Yeah.
But that you can eat the audience, that's that close to you. Absolutely incredible, And
great for comedy.
Yeah. As soon as you walk on, you get your first laugh. That was it. That was a memory that I'll always keep. Yeah.
It's great, isn't it? You talk about this, especially with what we're all going through with the coronavirus stuff. But those moments. It is a job. Sometimes it's a pain in the ass. The job when the flying, the traveling, the boredom, the this and the that. But we wouldn't do anything else. And when you're on stage and you have that time when it's just going so good.
Well, I'll tell you a funny story. Like sometimes on cruises, it doesn't go that well.
No.
So, and Blackpool comes into this as well. So I've done this show on a ship, and I've died. I've really bombed. I've gone, oh, dreadful. So the next day, we're in Acapulco, and I booked a trip to go and see the cliff divers. So I'm walking up this hill, with all the people, and they start talking about me. They know it's me, Who is he? who told him he was funny? I don't know how they get these people. I mean, like, he's obviously never done it before. He's just, and I'm walking up this hill, and it seemed like hours. So you get to the top, you know, and they're still on it, you know. He was dreadful. I hope he's not on again. Perhaps they'd get rid of him here. Anyway, as you know, the divers, they dive off, you know, and then they walk up the rocks and all of it, and then you give them a few dollars. Now, as I get to the front of the queue, this diver, he went, "Mick Miller," gives me a big hug, right? So these people have gone, well, I don't believe this. I've never heard of him in my life. And one of the divers in Acapulco knows who he is. What's the world coming to? And what it was, the year before in Blackpool, when they opened that big ride, the big one, they got these Mexican divers to dive at the top into a big, like, massive big pool, you know. And he was one of them. So we used to go to the showbiz dues.
Well, that's true. And you never know, you know, you go all around the world and this happened to us, we'll be somewhere.
A funny story. Australia. I worked Australia. I was touring Australia. And I was doing the Gold Coast. And there was a massive club there called the Seagulls. And it was 2,000-seater theatre club. Anyway, so I arrived for the bank call. You know, I just say to the boys, can you play me on, play me off? Yeah, lovely. So I thought, I'll have a walk around. So I'm walking down this beautiful staircase to the reception, and there's a poster, and it's got Frank Sinatra, $200. So I walk a bit further down, it's got Sammy Davis Jr., you know, big poster, $200. A bit further down, Phyllis Diller, $200. And I get to the main reception, and there's a picture of me, and it's got Mick Miller, free with prawns. True story.
But you're on the bill. Brilliant. Mick's known for Noddy. The Noddy thing, you told us the other day how it came about, and it's amazing how, and I don't know whether it's like a great song, but you know, you could watch that 20 years ago, watch it today, and still laugh at exactly the same things all the time. We do it now.
And you know, it's been nobbled so many times where people have thought, you know, let's give him a real bottle of gin. Yeah. And then they've done different things. There was once I was in Jersey, doing the show in Jersey, and they got this dentist to get the glass, and he drilled about 50 tiny holes in this glass. You know, so as soon as it started to fill up, you know, it's spouting all out these holes. So as soon as you cover them up, you know, the other one gets stronger, and the things are done with that. Yeah.
Oh, I bet. For those in the US that don't know Noddy, it was a children's program back in the 60s, I think. Black and white TV. It was a little character that come on and told stories and that kind of thing. Anyone in the UK will know.
They get the books now in the States. They do get the books, the Noddy books.
Is that right?
Yeah.
But if you don't know Noddy, you can just imagine it's a typical guy on the radio reading the story about Noddy. Noddy will never be the same if you've seen Mick Miller do it. Check this out.
And now, Mick Miller. Oh, thank you. First of all, I'm not the fella from Little Britain in a wheelchair, by the way. My wife's in the audience tonight. She was getting ready tonight. She said, you know, I had this on 25 years ago when we got married, and it still fits me. I said, it's a scarf. Imagine a fellow on the radio doing the Noddy programme for kids, and he hates kids. He needs kids like a moose needs a hat rack. He's been doing this for 20 years, every Monday morning on the radio, Noddy programme for kids, hates kids, alcoholic. Don't forget it's on the radio. Morning, kids. It's a Noddy show. Are you all listening to your radios? Well, what does little Noddy do today? He wakes up, doesn't he? Goes in the bathroom for a wash. Can you hear Noddy? Filling the sink with water. Little Noddy's got a big sink, hasn't he? He said, oh, sod it, I'll have a bath. Then he goes downstairs for his breakfast. There's a milkman. Pours himself a cup of tea. And he poured himself some toast. And a runny egg. Then he got in his car. And he's going on in his holidays to Scotty-Botland. Went in a cake shop in Glasgow. He said, is that a custard or meringue? He said, no, you're not wrong, it's a custard. And he's driving along and his car stopped. And Noddy said, oh, my car won't go at all. Phone the AA man. He said, what's wrong, eh? Hey! He found there was no water in the radiator. No. There was no water in the wishy whoppers. There's no water in the airbag.
Still brilliant, Mick. So good. Yeah, I have a question for you. How much has it evolved from the very first time you really went out and said, okay, that's it, I've got it, it's working? Has it evolved much from there?
Oh, yeah. A few things have gone out and a few things come back in. It started off about a minute and a half, and then it went up to 5, and now it's back to 3.5. And yeah, so I've done it on TV loads of times, you know.
Yeah, it's one of those. And maybe it's skill, it's your talent that got it there. But there's also, I think, some element of luck when in a career you get something like that. I know when we're here and we have people around. We'll either go on YouTube. There's a handful of things, you know. Have you seen Joe Longthorne? Have you ever heard Joe Longthorne sing? Are you serious? Look at this. Have you ever seen Bob Anderson sing? Have you ever seen Mick Miller's Noddy? There's a few things, and we'll always put it on the telly, you know, and show them.
Yeah.
And it talk about standing the test of time. You know, it's brilliant.
Well, I know on Facebook it's got like 2 million hits.
Yeah, it's brilliant. So good, so good. Mick Miller synonymous with Noddy forever. It's been brilliant today. I loved talking about it. I know that for our American viewers, you are in a TV show called Ideal. You play Johnny's dad. Is that right?
Yeah, Johnny Vegas's dad. Yeah, it was. I did 4. They did 8 series, and I did 4.
Okay.
It was on BBC America.
Yeah.
And it's about Johnny's a little drug dealer in a flat in Manchester, UK.
Okay.
And it's all about basically that's all he does. He sells weed.
Right.
And it's all about the people that come to the door to buy it, basically. And I'm his father. I live in the flat next door with my blind girlfriend who thinks I'm 33.
Nice.
You'll have to check it out. It's very funny. Very funny.
Wait, is it a comedy? Is it drama?
It's comedy and a bit of drama in it. So many people have been in it. I said Janine Garofalo.
Yeah.
What's his name? The Mod Father. He wanted to be in it, so he's in it. Keith Weller.
Nice.
Yeah, there's loads of people.
It's called Ideal. It's on BBC America, and
Ideal, yeah.
We've got loads of time at the moment to binge watch everything, so it's going to get on a few people's list, I'm sure. This has been a great special episode of Tad Talk. But our next Tad Talk one-on-one is with someone I spoke about before, Mick, called Bob Anderson. Bob goes back into the heyday of Vegas times, working with people like Sinatra. It was Sinatra who discovered him, Sammy Davis, Tony Bennett, and so on.
Yeah.
He is vocally one of the best, if not the best impersonator I've ever heard. However, about 2 years ago, maybe a little less, Anna and I were going for a little break to Vegas, and a friend of ours texted us as we landed and said, "Hey, I'm in a show. Do you want to come and see it?" And we had vowed that we weren't going up to see shows. We were just going to, just relax and get away from it. And I said to Anne, "Oh, Bob's called us. We should go see the show." "No, we're supposed to be not going to see the show. We're not doing. We're relaxing." "Well, it's going to be hard to say. We can't." Seriously. So we ended up going, "Let's go. Let's sit at the back. So we can get out early." It's a Frank Sinatra tribute. He got us 2 tickets. We sat down. The show started. Within 15 minutes, we were both literally crying our eyes out. It was that good. This guy is Frank Sinatra.
She gets far too hungry, babe, to wait for dinner at 8. I've got the world on a string, sitting on a rainbow. Like be a lady tonight, tall and tan and young and lovely. The girl from Ipanema goes a walking. Order anything you see. The summer wind came blowing in from across the sea. It's up to you, New York.
Wow, that's incredible.
He's amazing, mate. He's so good. So good. And he's going to be a guest next week.
Brilliant. I'll tune in.
Yeah, do that. It's been great to talk to you. It's been great to reminisce as well.
And you. Yeah.
I wish we could stop the program now, say goodbye, nip out, and meet in a pub and have a pint and chat about.
Well, when all this is over, we'll do that.
Definitely. We're planning on coming over here. I had tickets for Manchester United versus Bournemouth next Saturday, but that isn't going to happen. So hopefully when next season kicks up, we'll get into it. But great talking to you. Really great seeing your face again. And let's not be strangers. We'll talk soon.
Love to Anne.
Thanks, and same to you, to Wendy. Thanks everybody for joining in. It's been great. This is Tad Talk with Mick Miller, and we'll see you on another Tad Talk. Take care. Bye.